Now, when it comes to hitting, there are a few commonalities and a few absolutes that all great hitters share. Now, one of those absolutes is launch position. Now, I talk about launch position all the time, but I haven't done a full video on it in a while, so that's what I want to do today. Now first, let's talk about what launch position is and why it's so important. Now I've heard it called other things like firing position, things like that. I like launch position. A lot of people use launch position, so that's what I'm going to use today. But basically what it is, it's when you load and you stride, once that front heel hits the ground, before you start your swing, that's launch position. So what that means is nothing happens in your swing until that heel hits the ground. Okay, so a lot of younger players will load, and as they're going forward with their stride, they're going to start their swing. But you don't want to start anything until that heel hits the ground. Okay, so what do we look for in launch position? The first thing you want to look for is how big is your stride. Okay, a general rule of thumb is about the size of your bat or the size of your inseam. We just want to avoid getting way out here, and we also want to avoid getting real short like that. Okay, so next thing that we're going to look for, we want our front foot slightly open. Okay, we don't want it wide open like that, and we just want to avoid it being closed. So open just a little bit. We want our head in the middle of our body. We want our hands just in front of our shoulder. Our hands, our elbow, and our shoulder all at shoulder height with the knob of the bat facing the catcher, and this front elbow right in line with our back hip. Okay, that's called launch position. If you pause any MLB player, they're in that position right before they swing. Now, it can be a little bit off, but it's all generally the same. Now, just to kind of build off launch position, the next move is going to be our back knee is going to drive under the hip. Our hip's going to start to turn. We're going to start to push off that front side, start to generate the power and energy up our body into the kinetic chain through the bat and into the ball. After the back knee, after the hips, we're going to start to turn the barrel. What that means is we want the knob of the bat that's facing the catcher, our hand at 45, we're just going to turn that, okay, stay nice and tight to our body with the barrel, nice and tight to our body with our elbow. As we go through our turn, front arm works up like that, get on plane early, snap it through the zone to contact, through contact, palm up, palm down, and finish. Now the reason that our swing doesn't start until our foot hits the ground is because we want to use the ground as leverage to generate energy up our body through the kinetic chain into the bat, into the ball. If we start our swing as we're falling forward, now we have no power from the ground. We're just using all upper body and all arms. But if we land in launch position, in a balanced position, now we can start to push through the ground with our front side and turn and start to generate the power up our body into the bat, into the ball. Now for our younger hitters, we like to get all of our players to start pretty much in launch position. So we like to get them to start nice and wide with their hands up already at shoulder height, elbow at shoulder height, knob of the bat facing the catcher. So that when they load, it's just a small weight transfer and they're there. Because with the younger kids, the least amount of movement, the better. But in reality, you can start like this if you want. And then as the pitch is coming, if you load, coil, stride to launch position, you're just as good as if you start here, coil to launch position. But for the younger players, we like to get them to start there. Now, a couple great drills to get the players to figure out their launch position is the first one is just to start in launch position and you tell them to fire. Meaning they're gonna set up the tee, they're gonna line up in launch position, and you're gonna say go, and they're gonna swing. They're not gonna load because in reality, they've already gone through their load to launch position. So you can get them to start in launch position, you're gonna say go, and they're gonna swing. The next drill is to get them to start in their batting stance, and then they're gonna load, pause at launch position, check their feet, check their hands, make sure they're in the right position, and then fire. You're gonna notice a lot of players are gonna get to launch position, they're probably gonna be already down here. So you wanna correct it, and then get them to swing. Thank you guys so much for watching. And like I said, I talk about launch position all the time because it is one of the absolutes that all great hitters share. So if you guys like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and subscribe for new videos every week.